This is Baha Teamwork. I'm not sure about the attention span of the viewers who are going to be viewing this. This is intended for a couple of people who have been annoying me on the Taleworlds forum. Okay, so in this video, just going to hop to it. 27 seconds in, it's the intro. 2 minutes, 56 seconds in, depicts the power production system with a slide. This video is all about nuclear power. I'm going to try to get our speaker up here. Arnie Gunderson, Chief Engineer, Fairwinds Associates. Okay. 4 minutes in, he talks about the mechanism by which nuclear power produces power with an efficiency comparison. 4 minutes and 36 seconds in, he summarizes thermodynamics and the efficiencies. Well, he doesn't summarize thermodynamics, obviously, because he wouldn't have time to do that, but he summarizes the inefficiencies on the thermodynamic level, I would say, regarding like how much heat it takes to turn a turbine and how you can produce it easier with other forms of energy. 5:17, it begins depicting the inefficiencies and hazards to the environment. 6:10 specifically mentions how nuclear power produces radioactive byproducts. 7 minutes in, he's explaining the exponential production of those byproducts and also the nuclear weapon utility of those products. And, well, not those products necessarily, but, well, I don't want to lose anyone's attention. I just want to keep going on the video. 9 minutes summarizes the nuclear plant power production processes with a closed system. And then he talks about how if there's a leak, the leak that he talks about at that point in the film isn't significant because he's talking about water leaking into the system that is closed where the water is contained, not nuclear material leaking out. So don't get focused on that. 11 minutes, power advantage, disadvantage. He talks about the actual horsepower at the generator as a result of the steam from the nuclear plant. The quality of the steam and the efficiency limits that are given for the materials. See if the heat is too great, the materials involved in a nuclear plant will be melted, essentially. So 14 minutes in, he talks about uranium mining. Well, when you mine for uranium, it ruins the environment around it. And then he also talks about the depletion of the uranium as a resource. And then at 15 minutes, he starts talking about our lower standards and how high of grade the uranium needs to be. So we're accepting less uranium per pound of dirt or earth or whatever you want to call it. So we're constantly becoming less efficient on the gathering of the resource because there's less of the resource to gather, and then we're also accepting a lower quality. He talks about the long-term dangers from the byproducts at 16:30. 17 minutes, he talks about the different kinds of radiation. 20 minutes in, he begins a long section. 20 minutes, it's daily external radiation of acceptable levels because someone asked a question about airplanes or something like that. And then he goes on to talk about the distinction and some political views of the radiation, how there's some views that think that it's focused in one point, and then some think that it's spread out throughout the organs that it's afflicted internally. 23:30 talks about an analogy for the layman regarding that kind of perspective. It's kind of a crude analogy, but it's understandable. 24 minutes in, speakers, he gives his perspective. Gunderson gives his perspective on that political discussion. He believes that it is more dangerous than the particular political organization that thinks that it's not so dangerous. 24:30 offered some reading material for additional research if you were interested in regarding some deaths in Chernobyl and how they were assessed. 26 minutes in, he talks about the more hazardous issues with containment. Fukushima, Vermont Yankee, and other nuclear factories have designs in them that involve venting. That was an issue. Containment's always an issue in nuclear factories, regardless if you have a really good design or how many redundancies you have. Containment is an issue that can always potentially have earthquakes. Well, anyways, getting off topic. 2930, problems in designs not acknowledged due to the bureaucracy. So even though they know that the venting is an issue, he specifically states at 2930 that the Nuclear Regulatory Commission doesn't acknowledge one of the aspects that is viewed as dangerous by Germany and a few other countries that have acknowledged these issues with the venting and whatnot, or other particular containment aspects. I don't remember exactly. 30 minutes, 30 seconds in. Long-term dangers, radiation in straw that they found. Basically, he talks about how it takes 300 years for cesium to become inert. Up until that point, it's a hazard. You have to deal with it somehow. Which actually isn't the worst part of it, because plutonium, at 33 minutes in, he talks about how it's got 75,000 years to become inert. And that's a hard number for some people to grasp. Most people live about 70 years. So for someone to imagine 75,000 years, I think that's rather difficult. The pyramids have been around 5,000 years, which he points out later on in the film, when he's talking about issues with storage, because there's actually a facility in Sweden that he talks about. It's 36 minutes in that plans to store some of that material for the next 75,000 years, which isn't even feasible, I don't think. Like, it doesn't make any sense to me. And then he also talks about at 39 minutes how not only do they have to protect us from the plutonium, but they also have to protect the plutonium from us, because there are people who would try to get at that to make bombs, right? Backstepping a little bit, at 35 minutes in, he talks about the dangers of plutonium, how hazardous it is. Specifically, 1 milligram can kill you. Issues with storage. 37 minutes and 30 seconds in, he talks about the logic in nuclear power. It's pretty dumb when you think about the byproducts that you're making for the use that you're getting out of them. It just doesn't make any sense. His particular example is of Golden Girls on TV, for 75,000 years worth of waste that you can't possibly control. But I guess, some people could just say, that's in the future, forget them, I'll be long and dead and so will my kids. I don't know. But the purpose of this video was because on the Taleworlds forums, Swatus and Cookie something or other, they felt that this video, the one that I'm talking about by Gunderson, was too long for them. It's 40 minutes long. And I had told them that I don't care to explain this to them, that it takes time to explain these things. I don't expect that someone's going to view this video where I'm talking about these things, depicting the things in his video, and pick this stuff up. I think that you would have to actually watch his video to understand these things. I just went over them briefly to summarize so that those yahoos in a gaming forum know where at in the video to watch, so that they don't have an aneurysm when they sit through a 40-minute talk that consists of relevant information the entire time. Some people can't handle sitting still very long. I'm aware of that. That's fine. But I also don't think that there's a lot of significance in telling them any of this information, that they're not going to do anything with it. That even if they do view the material, I'm not convinced that they won't think that nuclear power is safe or something. It's I don't know where the idea comes from that nuclear power is thought to be safe. We all watched Jurassic Park, and no matter what the thing is that you're trying to contain, if it's nuclear power or a dinosaur, the analogy that I'm trying to make is that it can't be done on such a large scale. Some people in that forum are recommending mini nuclear facilities. The number of people that you would have to put the trust in is astonishing. When I'm driving down the road, I don't really put a lot of faith in some of the other cars. It's kind of hazardous, I think, even driving. A lot of people die every year. I would not want to put nuclear power in the hands of just anyone, and the wider spread that it is, the more people there will be responsible for that material. You've got truck drivers, and inspectors, scientists, safety inspectors. And with my knowledge of some safety inspectors, like I'm aware of an incident where the safety team for a nuclear facility decided to start a fire in a trailer outside the nuclear facility for the purpose of putting it out as like a practice or a drill, right? Well, they did it under high voltage lines, and the smoke is charged, and as it reached the high voltage lines, the power arced down to the ground. Luckily, no one was killed, and the power plant was shut off. It was like $80,000 a day that it cost the power plant for every day that it's offline. And then on top of that, the plant couldn't produce power because it has to be recertified to turn back on after a shutdown of so much time. So someone could argue that maybe that's an inefficiency in our Nuclear Regulatory Commission, that maybe they should let them turn on sooner. I don't think so. I think that the safety measures that are in place have kept us from having a lot of accidents. But we've already had a lot of accidents, so to me, it's not a matter of is it dangerous. It's a matter of when are they going to happen. So, to Swatus and Cookie, I hope this was satisfactory to you, that you have discerned whatever information it was that you tried to save time on by not watching a 40-minute film that was probably more educational than this. I am Baha Teamwork. I am not an expert on this. I am taking expert advice from the professors that I had in college, and I'm taking expert advice from Arnie here, as he's been called on YouTube, as I've seen so far in a couple other forums. The venue for this video's intended audience is a gaming forum, so it's kind of a waste of time, in my opinion, to teach anyone in there anything ever. But I was annoyed at how many comments I got that I apparently was somehow obligated to make this video or to try to illustrate the points that I said, that and the points were simple. Nuclear power is dangerous, and it's inefficient. And I don't know if I need to just reiterate this so that I don't get those yahoos posting stupidly again at me, but I'm going to try to find it in my notes that I made real quick, because I don't mind watching these videos. I've studied this kind of thing a lot. In this particular video, I want to cite a specific case. With 4 minutes, 36 seconds, he talks about some of the inefficiency. 9 minutes in, 11 minutes, 12 minutes, 15 minutes, 16, 17, and then he starts getting into the dangers at 17, actually. So, I mean, if you can watch my video and believe that there's no danger, or that it's safe, or that it's efficient, and I don't have anything more for you. This is more than I intended to give anyone. I'm trying to think if I have anything else to say. I know that in the forums I come off like I think that I know more than a lot of people. And the truth to that is that in that particular forum, it's a gaming forum. I literally think that most of you are like 12 years old, you know, or just mindless gamers. I don't think much of random people when I encounter them until they tell me that they have a certain education in something, or they have a specialty in something, or they have a certain aspect that they know a lot about, or if someone else is recognizing them for having some kind of specialty or special knowledge or something like that, or if I interact with them in the game and can discern a significant amount of intelligence. But I didn't gather any of that intel from you guys, Swatus or Cookie. All I got from you guys was that you didn't like the way that I didn't care about teaching you. like, uh, I don't know. Maybe I've just been epically trolled. It's probably the most likely case, is that you're idiots and that you just wanted to annoy me for your own satisfaction. But I don't think that I've wasted my time, because I think someone's going to watch this video and they're going to enjoy it, or they're going to find humor from that, your troll essentially, or knowing that in a country, the USA, where in the United States we have rule by majority almost. Obviously we have an electoral college and delegates and whatnot, so it's not like straight up, what does the majority of the morons think? It's not just like that, but it's pretty much like the majority. What does the majority think? So whatever the media swings, or whatever people can persuade the most people to believe is commonly what gets voted, which is a sad truth, but I do find humor occasionally in discovering people that have this illusion that everything will be fine with nuclear power or something like that. It's kind of interesting to me, and I hope that someone learned something out of this video, or that maybe someone will find Arnie Gunnarson's video and post it somewhere else. It only has like 400 or 600 views on the 2 copies of it that I saw on YouTube, and it really should have a lot more, because I don't see a lot of people out there saying, these are the dangers. Why are we doing this? Like, five countries legally have nukes. 4 countries just went and developed nukes under the guise that they were working on nuclear power, which is inefficient. There's no reason to work on nuclear power. Just go with solar, hydro, coal. I recommend coal. That would be like probably one of the better ones. Obviously, we're going to run out of our resources. We're going to run out of uranium too. This is just about the dangers involved in those other resources are significantly less than in nuclear. I think I've reached that point where I'm beating a dead horse, so I'm going to end the video. Everybody enjoy.